What's up, guys? This is TJ Tassone, mortgage broker, owner of Tassone Capital. Today I'm going to talk about the 5 things you should know before moving to Aurora, Colorado. And as always, smash the like and subscribe button so that way you can get access to my content that comes out every single week. And then let's just hop right into it. The number one thing that you should know about before moving to Aurora is how close it is to Cherry Creek Reservoir. So today I'm here, nice little lake that you can hang out on. Right now I'm on the beach area. So during the summertime, you have the ability to just kind of hang out. You can swim here, you can boat here, you can fish here. There's actually a gun range in here, as this is actually a state park. So there's some hiking trails as well. So there's a lot to do in this area. And so for Aurora being on the southeast side of Denver, you know, there's a lot to do here. So it's a really nice place to hang out in the summertime. And so that's why I like to put this at my number one spot. So me personally, I live in Aurora. I live about 5 minutes away from here. So when it gets to be, you know, in the high 90s in the summertime, this is a really great place to be. And it's always pretty well populated, so you can make friends here. If you want to bring a nice little lunch, there's a bunch of picnic tables around here. So it's a really great little community. And then if you actually take a look over here down to the side, there's actually docks down there. So if you physically own a boat, it's a good place to actually park your boat. And then I believe they do some jet ski rentals over there. So there's a lot of things to do over at the reservoir. What's up, guys? Just want to talk about my number 2 thing to think about before moving to Aurora, Colorado. So as you can see, I'm outside In-N-Out Burger. We finally got one. You know, I'm originally from Los Angeles, California, so In-N-Out Burger is a pretty big staple in California, so I grew up around it. Pretty common if we'd go on, you know, soccer tournament trips, you know, if you were gonna stop and get something quick, you might get In-N-Out. What I've never seemed to understand is how every single In-N-Out, whether it's in California or the few that are in Colorado, there's always a massive line. So, you know, right now it's really early in the morning and there's already people starting to stack up to make sure that they don't have to wait in line. They even have huge cones and everything to line up because the line gets so long. Everybody loves a good burger. So for me, you know, growing up around In-N-Out, it just seemed like it was a pretty standard thing. But now in Colorado, there's a few locations. There's one in Colorado Springs, there's one in Lakewood, there's one in Lone Tree, and I'm actually at the one in Aurora. So I live about 10 minutes away from here. So when you're looking at just quick kind of fast food burgers, I put In-N-Out at the number 1 spot because they're really good. And then obviously if you're gonna get, you know, fries, you gotta get them animal style. So if you want to come get a burger with me, I'd love to sit down with you and kind of talk about what it's like living here. So I'll see you on the next one. All right, guys, my number 3 thing to think about before moving to Aurora is the school district. So one of the most highly rated school districts in Denver is Cherry Creek School District. It's actually number 2 behind Boulder Valley School District up in Boulder. A big chunk of Aurora is actually within the Cherry Creek School District, which is really nice because that's obviously where, you know, if you're going to have kids, you want to make sure that they're going to have a really good education. So Cherry Creek is definitely the area to be in. I will post a map so you can see what the plot points are to see what parts of Aurora make sense. And it's good because living in Aurora, as far as cost of living goes, it's going to be a little bit less expensive, you know, than the areas like Centennial or, you know, maybe Greenwood Village or Inglewood. So it's going to be a little bit less expensive to live in Aurora, and it's going to get you into a better school district. So that's something to think about before moving to Aurora. So the number 4 thing to think about before moving to Aurora, Colorado is the proximity to the Denver Tech Center. So the Denver Tech Center is an area where there are about 1,000 companies. If you're going to be moving to this side of town, it's good to keep an eye out for the types of jobs that are available. So a lot of types of businesses that are in the tech center are going to be, you know, communication, sales, engineering, financial services, media, things of that nature. And then as far as things to do in the tech center, you know, there's a lot of bars, there's Comedy Works, there's a lot of restaurants. So it's a really nice place to be, about 30 minutes or so away from downtown Denver. And so when you're looking at a conversation of commute times, me personally, I live in Aurora. When I was working in the tech center, it was only a 15-minute drive. And hop on I-225 from where I was at, and there was only one exit before I had to get off for where I worked. So commute times are really nice to be in Aurora, and then obviously the cost of living in Aurora is going to be a little bit less expensive than maybe other parts of the city, to where you would, you know, closer commute, better school districts. Those are things to think about before moving to Aurora. All right, guys, so I want to talk about my number 5 things to think about before moving to Aurora. So proximity to the airport and proximity to hospitals. So in Aurora, we have UC Health and we have the VA hospital. I would say from all sides of Aurora. It's probably 20 minutes to 25 minutes max to the hospital area. So a lot of people work on that side of town. And if you're thinking about property values, because the hospitals employ so many people and because you're close to some schools on that side of town, there's always going to be a high demand for people wanting to live close by to the hospital. And then in addition to that, the airport. So the airport is, I would say, about 25 minutes or so away from most parts of Aurora. Maybe if you're in Southlands Aurora, which is a little bit further south, maybe 30 to 35 minutes. However, with that being said, that part of Aurora is really close to C470. So you can hop on. It's a toll road, typically pretty minimal traffic, so it's a pretty straight shot to the airport. So, you know, when I first lived in Denver, I lived in downtown Denver, and getting to the airport, there was always a lot of traffic because you had to get on I-7, you had to go through town, go through all the traffic to get there. So being out here, you can kind of avoid some of that I-70 traffic because it's, you know, pretty straight shot on I-225, or you can take Tower Road all the way down, or you can take Toll Road. So you've got a lot of options to get to the airport, and it's always really nice when you're traveling to be able to just get to the airport really fast. You don't have to have an hour-long commute to get there from other parts of the city. So that's something that's really nice to think about. So as always, guys, I always am open to feedback. If you have any suggestions or things to talk about, things to make this content more exciting. And then please be sure to like and subscribe my content as I come out with new content every single Friday. I always want to make sure that you're up to date. So I always appreciate you guys. Have a great day.